Great, thank you for that introduction. So if you look at this author list, you'll notice that I'm actually the odd one out. A lot of the work that I do together with my communities and together with Galaxy and WorkflowHub, it's about the fundamental infrastructure that underpins fair workflows. So it's the ability to find, access, interoperate, reuse. And so what I thought I'd do today is give that infrastructure type perspective of how all of the different elements of the ecosystem, and a couple of those elements in particular, WorkflowHub being one of them, actually tie in to support the work of groups like Euro-BioImaging, who are one of the communities that are basically creating this rich ecosystem using that underpinning infrastructure. So before I go any further, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which we're meeting today. So here in Brisbane, that's the Turrbal and Yagara people. I'm based in Adelaide, so for me, when I'm at home, that's the Ghana people. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country, and recognise that they make valuable contributions to both Australian and global society. So because one of the topics at this meeting is standardisation, I thought that's where I would start and really talk about that while also introducing Galaxy, because I'm not sure exactly how many people are familiar with it. This is a screenshot of Galaxy Australia, one of the used Galaxy.star instances. Galaxy is an open web-based platform for computational research. Regardless of which instance you use, it has this same appearance where you have a browser interface. Over on the left-hand side, you toggle through things like shared tools, workflows. You can see the tool panel there is expanded, and via that tool panel, from these instances, you can actually access thousands of tools that span multiple domains. The central panel is where all the action happens, so that's where you'll load tools, workflows, you'll visualize data, and over on the right, you've got your history. So you're tracking everything that you've done from uploading your data through processing it. One of the keys to Galaxy is its distributed infrastructure. This is a map of Galaxy Australia. And so as you can see, we've got a head node that's based at AARNet in Sydney. And then there are so-called pulsar nodes, which are remote compute in other capitals around the country. International users can access Galaxy Australia, and users within Australia can access the other servers, of which there are many. I'm not sure if the number has exceeded 200 yet for the known ones. Because Galaxy has a lot of depth, right? There's a lot of capability within Galaxy. One of the things that the community or multiple communities have undertaken is to use what are known as subdomains. Sometimes they're also called labs. And these give a domain-specific lens into everything that's available, right? So the community can choose, these are the tools to emphasize, this is the training to emphasize, these are the workflows that are recommended or useful for a particular application. And so you can see that in this expanded view over on the right here, that community members who want to use Galaxy, the Galaxy imaging subdomain, they can see annotations for specific workflows and what's actually available. And like I mentioned, that's not an isolated thing. There are multiple communities globally that are contributing in not only to these subdomains, but to contribute all of these tools into that shared central set. That's a really good segue to Galaxy being that collective effort. It is heavily based on standards, it's based on platforms, it's based on services, and none of it happens without that rich community. So it's one of the most welcoming and vibrant communities I've ever been a part of. So if you're not part of it yet, please do join. They're a great group of people to work with. And these standards that Galaxy is based on, in the first instance, are what enable tool availability. So going from tool source code to development of a Bioconda package, and then all the semi-automated processes that actually bring containers into the Galaxy ecosystem. So you have those shared tools. That's step one. And if we look at imaging specifically, there's more than 120 tools currently available, and it spans tools like Cell Profiler, ImageJ, SquidPy, Elastic, and the kinds of processing that you can access. It ranges from the ability to download data to your Galaxy instance from registries like the BioImage archive, file format conversions, things, analyses like Voronoi tessellation, all the way through to visualization of the results. Because those tools are available, one of the things you can also do with Galaxy is you can actually start pulling together workflows. And you can do that using something called the workflow canvas in Galaxy, which is basically a way to drag and drop the tools that are installed and then connect them together with pipes. So a researcher can develop a workflow. Because it's an execution environment as well, you can test and further develop that workflow, so get it working exactly the way you want, annotate it, and then you can actually start sharing it and putting in place shorthand ontology annotations as well, which help with discovery. So this is a zoom-in view of one of those workflows, and so you can see the individual wrapped tools, and they're connected with those pipes. So what I thought I'd do now is talk briefly about two of the, so one service and one ontology that I'm involved in. So WorkflowHub is a computational workflow registry. I've included a QR code here and a link to the publication if you want to read more about it. But in essence, WorkflowHub is all about sharing computational workflows. I don't have time to go into detail, but it really is intended to act as a hub. And the way that it does that is to connect out different elements of the workflows ecosystem. And that includes community efforts, and it absolutely includes Galaxy, but it also includes things like DataCite, just as an example, or ORCID. I also wanted to briefly mention EDAM, which I think everyone in the room has hopefully heard of at this point. EDAM is an ontology that is now part of many resources. I'm not going to list them all, but WorkflowHub, which is one of the infrastructure components that I'm involved with, absolutely makes use of EDAM. Euro-BioImaging, which has been in development for a while, is now approaching the finish line for full production. And so that means it's going to be something that can enter into this broader ecosystem, and then you can start beginning the annotation of bioimaging analysis workflows. So what I thought I'd do is finish on just some screenshots and a walkthrough of why this matters for workflows. So if you've developed a workflow in Galaxy and you want to share it, you may choose to do so through WorkflowHub. This is a screenshot of a search that's been applied to WorkflowHub. So right top left, you can see a query and a topic annotations. So most users will use free text search, whether it's via a search engine or WorkflowHub. And so if you search for Galaxy imaging, the topic annotations then actually allow you to filter down to a specific workflow that you want. This is particularly useful if you have people who are new to the area and want to find specific workflows. The entry then allows you at the push of a button to actually move the workflow into a Galaxy environment and begin using it. This also works directly from Galaxy, so you can import workflows directly from these big registries. And the key thing here is, if someone from a different instance has registered their workflow here, it instantly becomes findable. You don't need to go to that Galaxy instance. So it makes everything a bit more convergent, a bit more easy to understand and use. And if we look at that diagrammatically, this is what it looks like. If you're a workflow user and you're outside of Galaxy, registries like WorkflowHub and the understanding that comes from annotations like EDAM basically mean that you can find and understand a workflow, and you have a mechanism to bring it into a Galaxy instance to do your work. But if you're within the Galaxy ecosystem already, not only can you find workflows within your instance, but because of the existence of registries like WorkflowHub, you can import workflows as well. That's where I'm going to wrap up. I've got a selection of acknowledgements here for underpinning infrastructure. I really do also want to emphasize the communities that then make use of this infrastructure, including Euro-BioImaging, but also others from across the entire ecosystem, and in particular also the FAIR imaging workflows working group. So thanks very much, and thank you for the opportunity to come and speak. Happy to take questions.